Aloha, everyone. Michelle Melendez with Blossom Inner Wellness and StandTogetherHawaii.com. This is all on that this video is on, there's no climate emergency. Absolutely not, you guys. I'm going to share with you 4 different experts in the field, geologists, meteorologists, climatologists, as well as over 1,600 signatures of scientists from around the world with the declaration stating that there's no climate emergency, that what is happening is by design, that there is weather modification that has been attacking places. It has nothing to do, I mean, freaking Governor Green in Hawaii, who's a moron, in my opinion, an absolute coward. And he will be peaceably removed from office as soon as that time divine timing gets in there, and divine timing says its time is now, which I'm hoping is really soon. He stated that, oh, the climate change is now, climate is happening now, but it's not. So let me just share my screen and you guys can share this worldwide. That would be a freaking phenomenal. So first things first is World Climate Declaration. There is no climate emergency. Over 1,600 signatures from people around the world, you guys. Yes, there's no climate emergency. This is what they say. To believe the outcome, here we go. To believe the outcome of a climate model is to believe what the model makers have put in it, have put in. This is precisely the problem of today's climate discussion, to which climate models are central. Climate science has degenerated into a discussion based on beliefs, not on sound, self-critical science. Should not we free ourselves from the naive belief in immature climate models? And this is signed by Argentina. We have Australia has close to 200 signatures on this thing. And scrolling down, we have Austria, Bangladesh, Barbados, Belgium, just numerous. I'm not going to go through all of them. Brazil, Bolivia, Bulgaria, Canada. These are all the people that signed this. And these people that signed this are not just like me. It's like these are actual scientists that you actually have to have credentials. This is a world-class declaration, August 14th, 2023. So this is going to be in the description. You can share it with people. I want to go to this guy who is David Dully, Professor David Dully, Global Weather Cycles. And let's just hear who he is. And I'm going to stop share because I want to make sure that I have the audio on, and it is on. Okay. Global. Here we go. Yeah. All right.
Thank you, Tom, for having me on again. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm a former meteorologist with NOAA, National Weather Service, United States Air Force. Currently, senior researcher, meteorologist, climatologist at Global Weather Oscillations Incorporated. 50 years of experience in meteorology and climatology. So I'm going to be able to show you a few things. And working partner with the International Hurricane Protection Association. I have developed what we call climate pulse technology. I'm going to show you a little bit about that. It is proven science, and we're going to take a look at the Milankovitch cycles, which is proven cycles for climate, and the subset cycles that I have looked at. It is essentially the electromagnetic interactions between the Earth, Moon, Sun. Everything in the universe and Earth is electromagnetic. Specialize in hurricane landfall predictions.
So I'm just going to scroll a little bit forward because I want to show you what global warming is.
Let's just touch on it quickly. Global warming begins in the Arctic and Antarctic. About a 230-year cycle, global warming comes back again. When it comes back, it takes about 20 years for it to hit its peak. It started in the 1990s, hit its peak this past year. So global warming, what happens is the Antarctic and Arctic warm up. And as it warms up, you have less cold air available to filter southward into the mid-latitudes, and it warms the mid-latitudes. That is global warming. Well, global cooling also begins at the 2 poles. In 2022, the Arctic had the coldest spring and summer on record. Boy, can you have that during global warming? Coldest spring and summer on record. And I just checked what's going on up there now. And in April, they're again running below normal temperatures this year. So they'll probably have a cold spring, summer again. So the Arctic is cooling down.
So this was in 2023. This was about March or April 2023 is when this video is shown.
In 2021, the Antarctic had its coldest winter on record. Global warming, I'm telling you. So what happens? Okay, so we have cold air available, and that starts to filter southward, and eventually you have global cooling. It doesn't come on overnight. We get bits and pieces of it like we did this winter, especially out on the West Coast. But it's like global warming. It takes about 15, 20 years for it to really get entrenched and hit its peak. So it's coming, and it's going to get worse and worse.
Okay,
global warming.
so I want to go on to the Malkovich, his model of the Malkovich sun and moon, because this is really good.
It is proven science. You can Google it for whatever you want. Milankovitch cycles of the Earth, Moon, Sun interactions, electromagnetic cycles. Essentially, this is what it is. The Earth goes around the sun in an elliptical path. Every 120,000 years, the Earth becomes closest to the sun. And then about 60,000 years later, it's the furthest approach from the sun, greater distance. So the bottom half of this is all ice age, very cold due to less sunshine and also the tilt in our axis. Our closest approach was 8,000 years ago. We were warmer 6,000 to 8,000 years ago than we were today.
We were warmer 6,000 to 8,000 years ago, you guys.
It was. We were the closest approach to the sun and came out of an ice age. We're 8,000 years off the peak now. We're actually cooling down. And this is the cycles.
So I wanted to show you that, and then I want to show you this guy. He's an MIT scientist. Explains about...
If one asks about, is the temperature increasing or decreasing? It's always doing one or the other. I have no concern about that. By asking people to worry about whether it's going up or down, you're immediately establishing dishonesty. The Earth is always changing. Climate change is nothing you have to prove. It always is happening. It always has happened. So to make that into something alarming seems to me a little bit weird. Sea level is a hard thing to measure, actually, at any given place, traditionally.
So I want to go here now. This is my favorite guy. This is Greg Braden official with, he is with his friend, John L. Peterson of the Arlington Institute, and they usually just chat, but they were talking about carbon. So I'm gonna stop the recording for a second. It's really funny because, you know, they're talking about carbon, but now they're not talking about carbon. They're just saying global warming. They're not talking about the carbon, you know, because I think people finally got a freaking clue and maybe picked up a freaking climate book or something about the Earth and showed and remembered that we breathe carbon dioxide, and the plants breathe carbon dioxide, pull it in, and then push out oxygen. So people getting a freaking clue that we actually need carbon. And so let's check out what Greg Braden has to say, because he just lays it out.
If you're looking, I mean, our carbon dioxide levels are actually very low compared to where they have been in geologic history.
Sure.
We go back into the in the Triassic period, for example. It's the purple right there between 200 and 250 million years. You can see it was much higher, the Devonian period to the
Sure.
far left. One of the most, probably the best known eras in our past or periods is the Cretaceous period, right there.
Right, yeah,
it's in the
right.
green, 100 million years. So I want just to use this as an example. Those carbon dioxide levels were over 3 times higher than they are right now. They were up a little over 800, almost 1,000 parts per million for parts of that. What was the Cretaceous period like? It was an extreme greening on the earth. Forests emerged and new forms of life, a lot of flowering plants, for example, and large mammals. But look at this, when those CO2 levels dropped drastically, brought an end to the Cretaceous. And this is the danger, John, a lot of people aren't talking about. If Earth CO2 levels drop below 184 parts per million, that seems to be the threshold where we're in trouble, because the forests of the Earth thrive on the CO2. We cut that CO2. If CO2 drops to those levels, we are actually cutting off the very life force that is providing the oxygen on the planet. So we don't want to do that. And young people are not getting that message at all. So I think there's a way. Oh, go ahead, John. I'm sorry.
Well, there's a couple of things that need to be said about this. First of all, then this kind of information is extracted from the ice corings in the Bloodstock in Antarctica and then in Greenland.
Right.
If all of the information that they extracted was on this graph, what you would see is that the temperatures increase or decrease somewhere typically about 800 years before this carbon dioxide changes.
Right.
And what
So did you just hear him? He said the temperature increases or decreases 800 years before the carbon dioxide levels change.
And what that means is the carbon dioxide does not drive the change. It is the response from the temperature change.
Have been on committee.
Okay. So carbon dioxide isn't responsible for the change. It's a result of the change of the, so it's carbon dioxide. It's not because, we have so much carbon dioxide and the Earth is heating. That's not what the scientists said. Remember, trust the science. Remember that? That carbon dioxide doesn't affect the heating of the Earth. He actually just said that. He said the heating or cooling of the Earth happens 800 years before carbon dioxide changes. That's what he said. So we're trusting the science. And I think I have one more for you guys. And this is John Coleman, who is the founder of the Weather Channel. Yeah, let's hear what John has to say.
John Coleman. Who am I? Well, I'm the weatherman on KUSI TV in San Diego, California. Most of you know that, but some of you who have followed a link to here or found me on YouTube don't know anything about me. I was the original weatherman on Good Morning America. That was back in the 1970s. I was the founder of the Weather Channel, the cable TV network. That was in the 1980s. And I've been interviewed on all the big shows all over the cable networks about global warming. I'm a scientist, a meteorologist who has spent over 60 years forecasting the weather every day. And I guess this represents my proudest moment in my career. In 1982, the American Meteorological Society, of which I was a professional member for many years, awarded me their certificate as the Broadcast Meteorologist of the Year. Later on, I got kind of disgusted with the political agenda of the American.
Yeah, so anyway, that's who he is. What does he have to say about climate here?
Through our burning of fossil fuels and creating carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, I would devote the rest of my life to protecting this planet. I mean, that's very important. This is our home. This is what we got. This is where we live. But I am also absolutely positive that this whole thing about carbon dioxide and global warming is bad science. It's science gone bad. Science been taken over by people with political and environmental agendas, and it's just gotten really way out of hand. So I speak out about it whenever I can. And I appreciate you listening to me on this occasion. We are being used by all sorts of people for their agendas, and what they're basing it on isn't so. And they're also promoting alternate energy. And by the way, that's costing us billions of dollars in our electric bill and billions of dollars in what we pay for gasoline, that is entirely based upon this anti-fossil fuel campaign. So these people are trying to make it seem that I take sides politically. I'm not interested in politics, that I'm anti-environmentalism.
Okay. He shares, I'm not going to have him, but you can watch his whole video. I'm going to put the link in the description. So all of these scientists say the exact opposite of the mainstream. They want people to believe in climate change so that they get on board with their 15-minute cities, which is going to take away all of our freedoms, you guys. It's going to take away our freedoms to own property, our freedom to travel. It will also take away our freedom to do just about anything, even eat, because they are going to start to control our food, which they already do, and poison that. And that's a whole different video. What can we do? What can we do, right? Contact a legislative body. The link is in the description. I'm going to put out a little bit of a blurb that you can give to them saying, show us the science that we're in global warming. Show us the science around this. You know, we have a planning department that has 12 pages of how to reduce or stop or help climate change in Hawaii. Like they're wanting to do all these little hubs. They're calling them hubs. They're trying to change the name on us like we're stupid. And so they have a over 200-page 2045 planning development agenda document for Hawaii, for Big Island, and we're all looking through it. And I believe somebody told me that there's 12 pages on climate reduction. So what we want to do is we want to contact our legislative body and tell them, show us the science around this. And we show them our science, because over 1,600 scientists said there's no climate emergency. And I'm gonna write all of this out for you. I'll send you guys the links. And so we're gonna ask them, show us the science around this. And we're also gonna tell them that there is cold fusion. So I know I just did a video on this. Let me see if I can find that video again, because I'd love to stick it in this one, because we have cold fusion energy that is available to us, that's coming out. And let me get it. Here we go. And I'm going to do a screen share for this, and then we'll do a quick prayer. So hang on with me, you guys. Please share this, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Bigger picture, and let's talk about low energy nuclear reactions, because we know that the globalists of our world, they will carry out any number of crimes against humanity in order to keep the human race suppressed. They want to keep everybody down, and they want to deny the human race access to technology, and specifically cold fusion technology, which hopefully our audience is at least somewhat up to speed, but it was initially demonstrated by Fleischmann and Pons in 1989. It's been replicated in hundreds of labs all around the world. It's been studied by the US Navy. It's been replicated in labs in Russia, in Japan, in China, all over. You've tracked this perhaps more closely than any other person, certainly that I know. And it seems like this technology is on the verge of being commercialized and released upon the world as, I'm not going to call it free energy, because it's not free energy.
Right.
You do have to feed it mass, which is heavy water, but it's dirt cheap energy. You turn seawater into electricity without combustion and with no carbon being released, no nuclear material, no radiation, nothing like that. Where does low energy nuclear reaction technology stand today? And how do you think that it plays in with the globalist agendas that we're talking about?
Well, the last time I was on talking to you about it, not too long thereafter, a big change occurred in that entire field. And I got a friendly call and a friendly suggestion from 2 or 3 people, actually, to stop talking about that stuff. And it wasn't an order was a suggestion, and it was kind of like, thanks for your help, we'll take it from here type of thing. But I can assure everybody here, the train has left the station, and the reason why I was in Mexico in the first place, it was suggested to me by U.S. veterans that are currently living in Mexico, to go and talk to Dr. Claudia Sheinbaum, who's set to be the next president of Mexico, because she's a scientist.
I'm gonna fast forward because I think it needs to go here.
Time I did speak to you, I got emails from some pretty influential people from military families, industrious families, that had mentioned to me that yes, this technology does exist and that there is going to be a rollout. And in fact, I got claims from other people that I know that this technology is being utilized in another state on a much larger level. I don't have proof of that, though they'd love for me to talk about it just to get the publicity about it. But I do know from the people actively that I know that have been involved that the tremendous shift has taken place. And that being said, it's enough now that people can expect and should demand that this type of energy be available to the public.
So I want to stop that because this will stop the wars, you guys. We're in Israel because of oil, but that energy is going bye-bye. And we do have this cold fusion that is going to be available to us. They can't stop it. They have murdered people for their energy patents that are free. There was a carburetor in the 50s that would allow a car to go 90 miles on 1 gallon. 90 miles on 1 gallon. Can you imagine that? But that was gonna take down their profits. So they booted it out. You know, these bastards, this evil empire has been doing that for thousands of years. They've been killing, murdering scientists that keep bringing it out. But it's just like trying to hold water in your hand. You know, you can maybe stop a little bit here, but you can't stop it all. And then all of a sudden a flood comes, and that's what's coming for them. The light is here, and you cannot hold the light in your hands. It will go out into every single crevice, and that's us. We are the light. You are the light. I am the light, and we got to keep talking about this. So contact your legislative body and tell them, I'm going to put a little blurb in the description, contact them. Say, we do not need these smart cities, which will take away our freedom and destroy our way of life, destroy our freedom and our liberties. We need cold fusion to come about, and we need people to understand. We need them to look into who is doing the weather modification attacks on people, and that's what we need to do. So I did say that again. This is the same action as I did in this last video, but I wanted to give you guys proof around the climate, non-climate emergency that we're in. And please share this. Please share so that people can see we have the science. Okay, trust the science. We have the science. We're asking them, show us the science. Show us the science that this is that there's climate emergency here, when over 1,600 scientists around the world say there's not. And let's demand cold fusion. Let's demand it. It's time. We get to be free. And they're going to go kicking and screaming, and they're going to probably try to take as many of us as they can with them, but they're not going to take all of us. So each one of us is a light, and we need to speak our truth. Speak it loud and clear. Stand strong in your power, because you're here for a reason. It's not a mistake that you are in a human body at this time. Let's just do a prayer. Great Spirit, infinite intelligence. Wow. We are on a journey here. Indiana Jones don't have nothing on us. We just give so much gratitude for the inner strength that you give us every single day, for the courage to speak our truth in the midst of all these lies and deception and manipulation. And we know that we have won. We know that the light is so bright, that these demons and these cockroaches and rats that call themselves governors and mayors and police chiefs and head leaders of the UN and all of them, they know that their time is up. They know that they are going to be removed peaceably from the planet. And we just ask for inner strength for all those who have been personally attacked, with physically attacked. We've all been personally attacked, but physically, we just send them so much inner light and inner strength, and just the knowingness of hope that things are going to get better for them, that they are not alone. We know that the consciousness of Jesus Christ is with every single person, the unconditional love that he showed when he was in his physical form, that frequency has never died, that it always is with us. And we know that this planet is free. All people matter. All people are safe. And that the frequency of love surrounds us all with one heartbeat of humanity. We know that that is done. We know that it is here. And we say, yes, so it is. So I just send you and your family so much aloha from the Big Island. Please prepare. Just be safe. Have 3 to 6 months of food stored. If you have money in fiat currency and a lot of it, I highly recommend that you check out the sponsor in the description. Click on that, because get into silver or gold. It's very highly recommended that the fiat that you get out of the fiat dollar into real estate, into art, into gems, and I do precious metals. It's really, really good idea. If you have a retirement in fiat currency, check out the link that says sponsor, contact Bill. He can really help you get your retirement into precious metals and out of the fiat dollar, because the fiat dollar is going to go bye-bye, you guys. It's printed out of nothing. So that's something to know. And then let's take action. Contact our legislative bodies and tell them we want cold fusion. We know it's there. We know it's available for the public. We want it now. We want somebody to look into the weather modification that is attacking places around the world, like Maui, Lahaina, and Acapulco. And please look at the video I just did prior. It'll show you the actual footage of the satellite images over Maui that show weather modification. It's very clear. Sending you guys much aloha.